Okay, so we're taking a look at Esper Flash today. This deck is kind of a response to the fact that a lot of decks are starting to play the One Ring here and doing a lot of drawing of cards. So we are basically just trying to play a reactive game plan and deploy a bunch of threats, counter our opponent's spells, tempo them out, and try to beat them before the game goes long. So in order to do that, we are running quite a lot of removal and quite a lot of creatures that can come in at instant speed, so that we are able to just kind of give it to our opponent in all directions here. So let's start by taking a look at the creature side of things. In the 2-drop slot, we have Containment Priest, which is our combo with Fragment Reality here. Not sure I've shown this before, but Fragment Reality basically exiles something and then has your opponent put something with lesser CMC onto the battlefield from their library. It's a random creature card, but it can take out an artifact, creature, or enchantment, so you can remove a One Ring, a Shieldred, a lot of different things with this card. And Containment Priest, if there's one on the battlefield, then you can exile that instead. And this is a pretty good card to have. It also helps us against the Dragonstorm Storm decks. And that is something that we generally like to be able to do against those decks. Just shut them down with one card. Additionally, we have Snapcaster Mage. This gives all of our instant speed spells flashback, and it's also another body that can pressure our opponent's life total. Orcish Bowmasters needs no introduction. This is just an all powerhouse card. Very good if your opponent has a One Ring on the battlefield or is doing any sort of drawing in general. And then Cunning Nightbonder is our flash-specific card here. This is a hybrid blue-black, 2 of those. And it is a 2/2 with flash that discounts your flash spells and makes them uncounterable. So uncounterable Orcish Bowmaster, Snapcaster Mage, Containment Priest, Slitherwisp, and Spell Queller and Brazen Borrower. All of these pretty good. And in the 3-drop slot, let's take a look at these guys. Brazen Borrower has just been a strong card for as long as it's been printed. Bounces something for 2 and then comes down as a 3/1 body that is often evasive. We have Spell Queller, another very good card that exiles a spell with CMC 4 or less on ETB. And if our opponent is able to kill it, then they get their spell back, but often we're just trying to make sure that our opponent is dead before that even gets to happen. We also have Slitherwisp. This is another enabler for flash cards. Basically says that whenever another spell is cast that has flash, you draw a card and each opponent loses a life. This ends up being a decent amount of card draw, and sometimes it can push our opponent from a comfortable situation into a situation where they're feeling a little pressured. In terms of the spells, we have the 4 Fragment Realities to pair with our Containment Priests. We're running a 1 of Cling to Dust as just a reusable Graveyard Hate spell. And then we have Fatal Push here to destroy Shieldreds if possible. Also to generally just like kill our opponent's small creatures before they can get going. Reprieve is a new card. This is just a very cool one out of the Lord of the Rings deck, or out of the Lord of the Rings set, that is. 2 mana, 1 and a white for an instant that just returns a spell to its owner's hand and you draw a card. So it's basically, it's kind of a cantrip. I guess it is a cantrip. And to be able to make a large spell go back and have to be played another turn is a pretty strong effect, especially against like a mid-range matchup. We also have Make Disappear as a 2 of, just in case we need to counter a spell or 2. And then finally, Archmage's Charm, our other counter spell of choice, that also allows us to draw cards, can force our opponent to draw cards. It can take control of our opponent's Orcish Bowmaster's token. A lot of cool things you can do with this card. It is worth its 3 of in this deck. Our mana base is basically meant to be able to cast all of these things. We have a lot of blue-black, white-black, and just generally we're all pretty spread around. So we're running Rafine's Tower as a 4 of. We're even running a Mana Confluence as well. We just need to make sure that we can always be ready. Everything needs to be untapped. And then we have the classic Hallowed Fountain, Watery Grave kind of deal, all the Shocklands. Pretty much you can do whatever you want with the mana base as long as it's mostly untapped. That will make this deck the most effective. That's pretty much all I need to talk about for this one. This is Esper Flash. Let's hop into some games. And before we do so, you can show your support for the channel by dropping a like and subscribing if you're new. Helps me out a bunch. Let's hop into these rounds. Here we go. Okay, round 1. Here we go. We've got 3 mana. Our opponent is on Yorion. And we have a Snapcaster Mage that can come down to reuse a Fatal Push. I think that against a Yorion, we kind of want a more creature-heavy hand. Reprieve and Make Disappear are decent. I maybe will end up just playing Snapcaster Mage just as a body. I'll give this hand a try, though I don't think it's the strongest that we can put forward. Let's see what colors my opponent's on. Probably blue-white. Maybe Esper. Okay, could be Esper. And this is a mill deck, okay. That's a thing. I suppose I will just kill their Ruin Crab. Put down a Mana Confluence. We could snap. We could fragment. I think that's probably better. What I'll do is Fatal Push instead, actually. Fragment can hit a bit more things, and it doesn't have the mana restriction. Okay, sure, they got Dark Slick Shores in to mill us for 3. There goes 2 of our counterspells. We will Ruin Crab out of there. This turn we will be able to hold up Snapcaster Mage. I'll pay the 2 life for this. And I think I'm probably not going to cycle Rafine's Tower. Just go to our turn. Here is a Rafine's Tower. This means that when we get Cunning Nightbonder out, we could then also play Snapcaster Mage here. Don't think I'm going to do it, but I'll definitely get the Nightbonder out. That makes my Snap plus Fragment Reality a 2-mana play, which is cool. Let's see, so we can make disappear this potentially. I think that's probably not the move. We'll let them mill me a bit, and then we'll just have to get some bodies onto the battlefield. So maybe that is the move. I think I just need to get some bodies out, start hitting my opponent. Cool. Yeah, so we'll just Cunning Nightbonder in. Here is Snapcaster Mage. We will pay the life for that. And all of a sudden, we have something to do here. Now we got a Spell Queller as well. That's pretty good. Love to see that. We can also reprieve away a spell too, if we find something that's not that juicy. Alright, that is probably a good one. I think I'll just make disappear this one. I could also just Spell Queller, though I think that I don't want to let them have a destroy the board at any time. And maybe I should have reprieved that. That is one thing that I could have done, but it's okay. We get to swing it anyway. I think that wasn't a true misplay. But, yeah. So they're going to Ritual of Soot. I can probably just reprieve it now. We will reprieve this one. I believe the copy does not go to hand, so that actually does work out. Cool. Love to see that. And I guess we will also Cling to Dust, something that will draw us a card. So we'll get rid of Glimpse in case they find another Founding. Draw a card. It is our 4th Rafine's Tower, in fact. We now have the Orcish Bowmasters plus Spell Queller up, so I think we feel pretty strong about our position here. This could just be Yorion as a blocker. It is a 1 ring. We will Spell Queller that. And with Orcish Bowmasters, well, actually not even with Orcish Bowmasters, we do have lethal here on board already. Alright, so we were able to tempo our opponent out here, and we were rewarded with a win. Let's hop into round 2 and see if we can do it again. Here we go. Alright, round 2 coming up here. Let's see what we get. It is Spell Queller as a 2-of with Reprieve and Snapcaster Mage. I think I'm going to mull this one. This is a bit better. We do get Slither Wisp that can draw some cards. I think I'll drop off the Snapcaster Mage since I don't have anything to really target with it other than Reprieve. See if they do want to keep this one or not. No, no companion revealed out of my opponent. We will begin on Rafine's Tower, and this is a hand that I think I'm okay to keep on the play. So turn 2, we hold up Reprieve via Drowned Catacomb. And okay, so this is just actually a aggro deck, so maybe I'm just going to Watery Grave and tapped, save my life total a bit, and then we'll probably just try to ambush Fervent Champion, I guess. Okay, interesting move. They didn't do anything. So let's go ahead and drop the Watery Catacomb out, and then we'll just go ahead and pass. It may end up being a good idea to just Archmage's Charm their Fervent Champion. This is Squee. Do I want to do anything to Squee? Maybe I'll just bounce it back and draw a card. I think that's a good development play here. We find our 4th land, that's great. And we're just fine to take a damage return from the Fervent Champion. So here's Rafine's Tower in tapped. We're going to set up a turn where we have 5 mana for both Make Disappear and a card. And my next turn is going to probably be Slitherwisp. Alright, they replay Squee. I think I'll just probably Slitherwisp in here. Fine, we'll go ahead and Slitherwisp. Resolves. We will block the Fervent Champion. Alright, move to our turn. We have another Slitherwisp here, which is good. Spell Queller if we need it, and yeah, this feels fine. Rending Flame deals 5 damage to a creature or planeswalker. So, should I make Disappear this? That wouldn't really work, would it? Maybe a Archmage's Charm, or I can get another Slitherwisp in. I can Spell Queller this away. That seems kind of medium right now. Maybe I just... Actually, you know what? I will try the Spell Queller idea. Let's do that. We get another card here. Exile this spell, and then so when we do get something to remove, now Fatal pushes online. Alright, so they attack in. Sure. You do get to block all these little guys. Oh, whoops. What am I doing? Needs to be going like this and like that. There we go. And do they have a way to deal damage to things? They don't. That's a interesting play out of my opponent. Fine, Mana Confluence. We'll go in with the team here. And now our opponent's on the back foot. We have Slitherwisp plus Charm here if we really need to. Feels pretty solid right now. Alright, Rending Flame. They can pay for the Make Disappear here, so let's go ahead and... I think I could try to be greedy and get another Slitherwisp in here, but I'll just Archmage's Charm this instead. Do they have another spell? It is just Squee once again. And do they have the cards to exile? They do not. I think this Squee is really not the worst thing to happen to me. They attack in here. We're going to Slitherwisp. Trigger our Slitherwisp. And now we have Orcish Bowmasters, which is great. We get to kill one of these little goblins. And yeah, that looks good. We have double Bowmasters, which is really good. We can kill kind of anything they put at us. Plus, we get to hold up Make Disappear. We can even sack an Orcish Bowmaster token to the Make Disappear if we wanted to. Shiv and Devastator. I'm not going to read any of that because we can just Make Disappear for 2 mana. And that's enough to get our opponent to concede. Sweet. Just another, this was kind of just like a aggro versus control matchup. I think we were positioned pretty well here. Or it's not really even aggro versus control. It's aggro versus tempo. And it plays kind of like aggro versus control. You just have to survive a certain number of turns, and then you turn a corner and can kill your opponent. Okay, so that was our round 2. Let's hop into round 3 and see if we can just have another good game. Here we go. Okay, here's round 3. We got a 2-lander, but it does have reprieve, removal, and Make Disappear. I'm interested. Unless my first draw is a Watery Grave, I'll play the Drowned Catacomb first. Cunning Nightbonder is a good play, but I don't need to rush it. They're on black. This could be a Thoughtseize coming up. Who knows? It's a Liliana. I make disappear it. Basically, if they tap out for anything, I'm down to get rid of this. Collective Brutality. Interesting. They did not escalate. Choose an instant or sorcery. I mean, I would be down to make disappear this. Or am I? If I think about it, it's reprieve or make disappear that they take most likely. I mean, maybe I let them know what's up, and then I just get a creature down on the battlefield. Yeah, that might be the move. Then if I draw a land, I can also spell plus Snapcaster Mage plus spell, which is good. They take the make disappear. They want their things to hit the battlefield. Here's Cunning Nightbonder. Alright, go to my turn. Containment Priest is another thing that I could play. Good to know. Let's see what my opponent plays. Another Swamp, maybe Shieldred. Just to go for the throat, okay. I don't really need to send that back to hand, so that's okay. I'm kind of debating whether or not I should just get the Brazen Borrower out while I could. But I guess I don't really need to do that. Here's a Containment Priest for now. Just another thing that they'll have to deal with and waste a spell on. And if they don't do that, then it'll just attack them down. Might be holding up Edict here. Shieldred's Edict, that is. Hey, called it. That is a card that I'm just fine to get rid of. And we find our third land, which means that we have Snap for Fragment Reality, potentially. Oh, psych, none of those are in the graveyard yet, so I can't do that. It would need to be a combination of Brazen Borrower Bounce and one of these spells. I'm fine. Liliana the Veil, we'll just send that back for a turn. Spell Queller can deal with that next turn, love that. We will shock for this. It'll ultimately save us life over the Mana Confluence. That's not totally true, but it'll be good to get down. Now we do have Snap to Snap Reprieve or Snap Counterspell. This deck probably plays Bowmaster, so Fragment Reality on Liliana is not super ideal. I'm thinking whether or not I should Spell Queller or Snapcaster Mage. There will become a point where Liliana kind of sucks, so I think Spell Queller just delaying her is a good idea. Liliana again, we'll Spell Queller that. And then we can do the trick of fragmenting our own Spell Queller if it comes down to it. This player sacks a creature. Okay, that's kind of annoying, so sure. They do get to cast Liliana again. As soon as they activate, I'll probably just discard Fatal Push or something.
Nobody knows Domino.
So they're going to be able to draw a card here. That's annoying. Let's fragment Liliana. Oh, we'll fragment the Waste Knot. That's actually kind of a good idea. See if they have a 1-drop. They do not. We'll discard Fatal Push. And we are doing okay. We got backup Fragment Reality plus a Brazen Borrower for Liliana. I think I'll just discard Fragment Reality. We have access to it via Snapcaster Mage. I'm surprised to see Innocent Blood here. So we're gonna absolutely snap this. out of existence. Let's take Make Disappear. Cast Make Disappear. That was face up for my opponent, so they kind of just threw that spell away more or less. Liliana can make me sack a creature. Just get rid of Fragment Reality, short.
We all
Good
have
my
things
turn.
together.
And now, if I were to play this Confluence, I get to Brazen Borrower and deploy the Brazen Borrower. We'll just try to kill Liliana while we can.
Ah, you couldn't be more annoying.
So I think they uptick Liliana here, make me play my Borrower. Okay, so would I rather keep Snapcaster Mage or Brazen Borrower? I think probably just the Borrower is better. They can always lock Thwain for another card. I'll wait for them to do so. Sounds like they're going to do it on my turn. That is a potential to draw an Orcish Bowmaster. Short. Let's see if they can destroy my creature. Okay, that is a Bowmaster for them, sure. Drawing my own Bowmaster here would be super ideal. Instead we get a land, so we'll just pass that. And now it comes down to top decks. Everyone discards. I'm fine to just discard this land. Davriel. So this is just kind of like hand hate dot deck. And I think we might just lose to the Bowmasters if we can't do anything else. Grim Tutor for something. And whatever that something is probably not good. This could be another Invoke, actually. They went for Bajuka Bog. That's a surprise. And that actually was a very, very good play. Very heads-up play by my opponent. Love to see that. So I think that's a play that... What did we have in graveyard? We did have... Yeah, we actually had a lot of ways to deal with this Orcish Bowmaster. So that was a really, really impactful play by my opponent. Square discards the card. Here's our sad Snapcaster Mage just coming in as a blocker for Bowmasters.
You won't be outsmarting me.
They get to lock Thwain for another card, and this is probably where I start to get valued out of here. Another Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Yeah, okay, so now they have a creature that can go through two of my creatures. I will shut off their draw, potentially. I mean, I'm not really drawing too many cards myself, but that value is can't be understated. And it's a good thing that I did that, because I do need to actually just cycle this. I'll probably wait till my turn. Or till they make me discard, that is. This is a little bit risky because I am only able to draw 2-drop here and play it. They're thinking about that Liliana sack. Makes sense. Let's just see what we had here. I think I'm probably a little bit too far gone here. They have obviously Hive of the Eye Tyrant here as well. I think that's probably it. That is 4 damage here. So we have a turn. And that turn is going to need to be pretty impactful if we want to come away with a win here. And a land does not do it. We'll go ahead and save our opponent the clicks here. That was our round 3. Kind of a slow start against discard, and I mean, this is just how discard works. They edict your creatures and they control the hand, and then you kind of are left in a top deck match that they are more well equipped to deal with. Good deck and good play out of my opponent. Let's hop into round 4 and see how we can do with our Esper Flash. Here we go. Round 4 coming up. Another 2-lander. I'm not super hot on 2-landers, really. A Yorion means that I want to have a relatively creature-based hand, which this is, but it needs specifically black mana to be drawn, and I'm not sure I trust myself to be able to do that. Here, the Mana Confluence is a little scary in terms of life. This being a presumably control deck, And this is assuming that my opponent doesn't have Yorion as a false signal there. I think Orcish Bowmasters is a good one to keep on. The question is Snapcaster or Brazen Borrower or Slitherwisp going back. I think probably Snapcaster because I don't have the mana to play whatever I snap back. We'd love to see a Watery Grave. And that means Orcish Bowmaster on 2 for us. Yep. Alright, so the draws have actually been pretty solid right here. We're going to make disappear this. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to cast our own Bowmasters at some point. Sure, let's just go ahead and Bowmasters now. Get to kill theirs. Now we have ours. Alright, so now they gotta find a removal spell for our Bowmasters. Haughty Djinn, okay. We will throw away our Orc Army for theirs, and that's a little dangerous because they can Edict us, but we do have Brazen Borrower and things like that to flash in. Let's put a Mana Confluence in, hold up Slitherwisp, and I'm not attacking with Bowmasters. We go in for Shield Druid here, we definitely make disappear this, because it's good to hold that up. And we definitely want to find some more removal for that kind of stuff. We'll go to our turn. Here is an untapped land. Well, we don't need to play an untapped land because we have basically just 3 mana plays to make. So we'll set up a turn for the Brazen Borrower plus Brazen Borrower other side. And let's just pass the turn. We'll get a Slitherwisp down at end of turn here. And that should be fine. This is okay. Djinn is the number of instant and sorceries in your graveyard. Okay. Here's Slitherwisp. This Brazen Borrower thing's going to be pretty good eventually. We have another Orcish Bowmasters. That's nice. I wonder if they would trade for my Slitherwisp. I don't really care to do so. Alright, and now if they draw a card here, I'm going to definitely punish them with Orcish Bowmasters. They'll fetch. Oracle to Scry. Looks like they want to Yorion their Oracle back, so I think I'm going to hold up Brazen Borrower for the following turn. Let's get a Bowmasters. We find Fragment Reality. I wonder if I should do that on Oracle the Alpha. That almost certainly finds them a Bowmasters. So if I do this, they'll use their Bowmasters to kill mine, I'll kill theirs, and we'll just be neutral. So I'll just leave things like this. Deal it to the face, and we'll hold up Fragment Reality for something a little bit scarier. Alright, so I think we just go to our turn with this. I'm pretty certain my opponent's not doing anything crazy here, so I will swing all in. Okay, so this is just a block, fine. We go to 12 here, we have Brazen Borrower, Yorion, all that stuff is good. And we have Snap plus Make Disappear if we need to do it. Feel pretty solid here. Actually, a Snap Make Disappear on Yorion is solid. Geist Channeler. Yeah, sure. That is a little scary with the Oracle, the Alpha on the battlefield. But I think if they're going to get to a point where they can infinite combo me with Oracle, it's going to happen. So I'm not super worried about whatever they're doing with the Geist Channeler. Can always take my Orcish Bowmasters back and recast it. It's an opponent, never mind. So they have tapped out for Shadows of Verdict here. I think I'm going to definitely Snap, Make Disappear, sacking the Orc. Let's make disappear this with casualty. We'll discard, not discard, but sacrifice the Orc army. Targeting Shadow's Verdict. Alright. So that's a thing. I am probably not going to Brazen Bar or anything at this point now. Another Slitherwisp is good. That draws off of our Slitherwisp. Alright. Down. I think we might just end up giving them their Yorion trigger, though. That's the one thing that kind of sucks. Geist Channeler can be killed to find something else, though. That might be a good idea. Sure. You can do that. Here's Yorion now. So what do I want to do with this? They have one card in hand. They'll get a Geist Channeler hit on it. They'll get Oracle, put more things in their library. I think that Oracle on the first and second iteration of it, all it really does is slow down your velocity a bit in terms of your top decks. So I'm inclined to let that happen. I think what I'll do is reprieve the Yorion for now, and then on a later turn I'll just Fragment Reality it when it does come down. Alright, we get the draw card. We have Snap Reprieve again. Here's a Slitherwisp. For our opponent's a 10. We have Spell Queller now. For anything that is not a Yorion. Here we go. Archmage's Charm now is good. Can counter the Yorion on its way back in. And then that can be reused with a Snapcaster Mage down the line too. Sweet. Love that. Okay, so this is going to be Archmage's Charm. See what our opponent has next for us. They do have attacks in the air, but we have kind of superior firepower on the ground. Okay, I'll kind of just continue to play this slow. We have another Make Disappear. That's great. Mox Emerald, sure. Soon Make Disappear is not going to be very useful to me. I guess I could have Spell Quellered it if it really came down to it, but oh well. I can Brazen Borrower that back. I can get a Brazen Borrower out, but Haughty Djinn is just an annoying blocker. I don't want to give them another Orcish Bowmasters since I am drawing cards with Slitherwisp, so I will just go to my turn. I could Spell Queller with nothing, but that doesn't seem very strong. Another Slitherwisp is actually probably one of my better draws, so that's good. I don't really care too much about making a land drop this turn, so I'll just kind of sit here. I could be trying to force some trades with our Slitherwisp, like I could Fragment Reality away something, but it's okay. Now, what do I want to do against this Time Twister here? I'll probably just Spell Queller it, so this will be Slitherwisp, draw. We can maybe just find something to counter this. And then... Yeah, I guess it does need to be Spell Queller. Oh, whoa. Let this resolve first. Then I Spell Queller. Boom, boom, boom. Opponent goes to 5. We find all the lands that we could possibly want, and it's looking pretty good for us. We have Snap and Brazen Borrower that is lethal. Opponent's got to wipe the board or get us to Time Twister right now. We don't block in case their last card is a Fatal Push, and they're trying to do kill Spell Queller. It may actually be Fatal Push. They're looking at what they can target. It's just Bowmasters. Oh, it's Peer into the Abyss. What the heck? We go to 6. They attack. Yeah, we can deal with that just fine. Okay, that's a surprise. Orcish Bowmasters would have killed them with their last card in hand. Interesting little game that we had there. Peer into the Abyss was really not what I was expecting at all. That is what they needed in order to get their Oracle V Alpha combo going, and it looks like our one Orcish Bowmasters that survived is what made the difference. Okay, so that was our round 4. Pretty long one. Let's hop into round 5. Here we go. Okay, we're in the final round here. This is not terrible. I find that Mana Confluence is kind of difficult to play. It's a pretty big life investment here for a deck that is not combo focused. If I get one more land, this is good. If I don't, it's bad. So I'm going to err on the side of we should be safe, and I'm going to mulligan this one. This is better. We'll keep this. Snapcaster has not really anything really to hit. I'll just keep the Fatal Push in hand. And we get to hop in with Watery Grave. I will not shock. And we'll just play off of this Orcish Bowmasters. Around Catacomb. I think I'm going to hold Bowmasters. Now we got Slitherwisp. That I'll play. They shock, interesting. So I'm not going to go into a counterspell here. We'll just kind of continue to sit here until they play something. I'm content with Make Disappear plus Bowmasters as well. I'll wait till I have that 5th mana to Make Disappear. Fight over this on their end step. Faithful Mending. How do I feel about this? Maybe not great. Maybe it's okay. Let's let them have it. Well, let's see if this is Reanimator or Control. Oh, Omniscience. Hello. Oh, so they do have creatures in this deck. This is quite interesting. Patriarch's Humiliation. So this is probably just to nullify a Bowmasters? So interesting. Here's Slitherwisp. Do you have a counterspell? Wait, let me have it, okay. And now, will you kill it? So it perpetually loses all abilities. Interesting, okay. Let's Bowmasters. I'm down to take 2. It's good for life and a card. So they counter my Bowmasters. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, good sequencing out of my opponent. We do find another Slitherwisp. At least this is just a 3-2. Like, it's not bad. So we have Reprieve for a big spell, if it does end up coming down. Invoke Justice, we'll just go ahead and counter that. So this is Reanimation for Omniscience. I see what's going on here. Here's Slitherwisp. We got 6 power on the battlefield. Nightbonder's great as well. And turn. This one could be getting closer. So this is Nightbonder into Snapcaster. Well, they could have their own Make Disappear, I guess. I think I probably want to snap, Make Disappear with Casualty, sacking my Snapcaster Mage. We snap Make Disappear here. And you know what? I could Make Disappear, or I could just Reprieve Day of Judgment. But it doesn't matter, because if they have a counterspell, they have a counterspell. Alright. If they've got the counterspell, then this is going to be tough. Oh. Okay, they paid the mana into the first one and then got countered by the second one. That means they can't play any 2 mana cards they would have had in hand, and that is a mistake. Alright, well that means I get to get in for 6. And I have basically 2 more damage in these 2 cards on tap. They gotta find a board wipe here. And even if they do, I get to just flash things in at the end step. Yep. So I, should have reprieved that. I'm not sure. I guess I was just clicking on this while I was, while the priority was given to me. Well, let's see what happens here. We either lose or we don't lose. Approach of the Second Sun. So I could reprieve this to their hand and just lose. That would be funny. Okay. Go to 10 and 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This should be lethal. Doesn't even need to be lethal. Alright, we have double reprieve backup. We'll go to our turn. Swing in with the squad. That should be lethal, and we've got them. Alright. Kind of a weird game, but we pulled it out despite a few misplays. But I think the strengths and weaknesses of the deck have shown through regardless. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think in the comments about Esper Flash. I think that Cunning Night Bonder, while not a card that you usually see in this list, these kinds of lists that is, I think it's still a pretty good card. I think the non-counter ability is pretty cool, especially against control decks. And Slitherwisp, of course, is a pretty strong card, but it has the downside of A, not being discounted by Cunning Night Bonder, and B, just being a pretty restrictive mana cost to the point where, like, you pretty much just want to be in blue-black, maybe an Esper. But, this deck's mana base is mostly built around the core of Dimir, so it's something that we can do. Yeah, I don't know. If you guys have any more comments on the deck, if you liked it or hated it, let me know. And otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.